Well, Don, it's good to see you. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock cocktail. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for our first episode of the Chelsea Chat. Where are you located, in case anyone is wondering?
Just from my living room, in outside, just outside New York City, in the burbs, the
In the
Jersey
burbs.
burbs.
I'm in the burbs too, so. But
Yeah, look at your beautiful home. That's Baja. I'm off the grid, everybody.
yeah. So I'm in the Baja burbs, a couple hours south of San Diego.
Yeah,
So,
make sure you go there and look at it because it's amazing. It's an amazing property Eagle has.
thank you. So during this time, a lot of people are wondering, is it a good time to invest in art? Has everything come to a standstill? What do you think is what's going on right now, and how does art fall into play when it comes into, you know?
Well, I think you got to look at it two ways. I mean, in the beginning, it really was going quite well because there were a lot of people that were looking to sell things at a discount, and then there were people out there that had money and were looking to buy things. So there was a couple transactions that happened that way. That's kind of soured a little bit, but honestly, the galleries are now making some really good deals on their inventories. We just had a MacArthur Binion that just got an amazing deal on for a client. So we're getting offered things every day at the galleries. So it's kind of exciting.
Cool. Question: for people who are just starting out to invest in art, what should they know? What are the basics of starting a collection?
Well, finding somebody that knows what they're doing and will guide you the right way, I think is number one. And I'd like to consider our little group, we do a good job of that. There's all ways to start out. Most people's first purchase is to basically to decorate or to liven up their homes, which is another thing that's happening now is people are buying art because they're stuck inside and they want to have something that they didn't have before to live with, to sort of brighten their day, make things a little easier for them, to maintain the monotony, get through everything.
So if you can't move to the beach or move to some place that has a great view, you can perhaps change out your wall and create a new world for yourself at home. Is that kind of what you're seeing?
Exactly. That's really interesting. We're going to be talking about an artist, Donald Sultan, today, who actually does that. He deals a lot with the art that's in the location where he's in and outside the location where he's in. So,
what I'm looking at is a large painting of a black flower with 4 button-like dots on it, and it seems to be on some kind of 3-dimensional board. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, they look like dominoes, basically, which is also a current theme in Sultan's work, which we'll get to in a little while. Donald Sultan's work cannot be confused with anybody else's work. It's very, very distinctive.
So tell us about this blue piece that we have with these kind of like blue chevrons, and then these 3 black flowers and the 4 dots, and then you can see these bars running through the back that give it this 3-dimensional quality.
Right. So the Sultan's work comes from the 1960s originally, where he was at the Art Institute of Chicago studying. He moved back to New York and wasn't working as an artist. He was working in construction. So he started to use the materials that he was working with every day to create art. And they were linoleum tile squares and black tar, and masonite. And he would build these, he would basically glue the linoleum tiles to the masonite and then glue it to or combine it with a 3-dimensional stretcher. So these actually hang off the wall like 3-dimensional wall sculptures.
So how much would something like this run someone, these like 3 flowers or the large one from before?
I think it's about $125,000 last I checked, dollars for a full-size painting. And that painting is a good 8 to 10 feet long, I'm guessing. It's a large painting.
And is he in most museums? Like, where else would I be able to see him?
He's in every contemporary collection. He's a very, very important artist. His work kind of is a combination of the pop movement, where he uses images that we kind of know, that are mass images that everybody would know, but also combines it with minimalism, and that's where the grids come in. So the tiles are basically combining the tiles. Tiles creates the grid, and that's the minimal aspect of it. He's carried on with this since the mid '60s.
So who would be a Sultan contemporary that I could compare him to, or is there one?
His work's very distinctive. I mean, you would have like a Solowit who would use a grid, and then you would have somebody that has very recognizable images like a Warhol, say. There also is a huge historical factor to his work, where he goes back even into the 1800s, early 1900s, and re-examines some paintings from there that were greatly influenced his work. Are we on the Yellow Lemon yet?
Yeah, we're looking at the Yellow Lemon right now, actually.
So the Yellow Lemon is an interesting painting. This sort of was the first thing he started doing back in the 60s, one of the first things. He also did these industrial landscapes, but we're not talking about those today. But that lemon actually was a painting that he was incredibly struck by, and he's very struck by the work of Manet. And that Manet is actually a lemon. You have the picture of the Manet lemon up?
Oh, let's look at the Manet lemon. Yes. So here we have the Manet lemon.
Going through, it was the Louvre where the lemon is, but it's a very famous Manet picture. And he was basically struck by the shape of the lemon and how that's such an ordinary shape that we all know, but it could have other meanings. If you look closely, obviously there's a sexual part of it that filters into his work. Many times in what we see in a Donald Sultan work, we'll see an object like a flower, but there'll be other images that sort of can be found within it.
So how does this lemon make you feel, Don?
Sour.
Next I have, is this a hotel that we're looking at? It looks like a gallery. I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of...
Really, really interesting story. So he was approached back in the early, I guess in the 80s, must have been the 80s, to basically design a hotel in Budapest. And what you're seeing there, do you have the lobby picture up? There's a Budapest, an actual hotel in Budapest you can go stay at, where that is all Donald Sultan. From the time you walk into the rooms, the hallways, it's basically his designs and his paintings. One of the things he is also famous for is he likes to have a lot of fun. He deals a lot with gaming, so there's a picture there of some playing cards mixed with some dominoes. Even in the large pictures we saw at the beginning, they're you'll see the domino spots.
So I'm just looking at these, this domino card right now. Is it a print? Is it what am I looking at?
I mean, he's very interesting because he as a painter first, but he's sort of mastered a lot of different techniques, and so there are some very accessible price prints around the $2,000, $2,500 mark.
Is that what these are running? These diamond prints?
Yeah, they're 25. The diamond, the playing cards. Those are actually playing cards.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at those as abstracts. Oh, the other thing he does on the prints, which are really exciting, he doesn't sign them on the bottom like normal artists. He signs them up the sides, and you'll see the signature with the date that they are finished.
1990 is what it looks like to me.
They all become part of the composition. So they may have been worked on for a while, but the finish date is what you see along with his signature, and it's always on the left-hand side.
So are these two spades, they're about the same price as well as the diamonds?
Yeah. The playing cards are all around the $2,000, $2,500 range.
And next I have, it looks like some smoke rings, I think it is?
It's interesting because Sultan deals with the things that are around him, like he found flowers, he found the lemon painting. So one day he was looking in the studio and he was smoking, and there were the smoke rings. So it's also a lot about what's inside as opposed to what's outside. So that's where it's kind of fun. That's where the smoke rings come from.
And what's the size and also what's the price for the smoke rings?
The smoke rings they're about 2 feet by 2 feet, slightly larger framed. And those are $3,500, if I remember correctly.
Okay. And then next I have a living room, and above the mantle is is it a print? Is it a painting of blue flowers?
This is a print above. This is somebody's print that's in their home. I found it online, and I wanted to show it because we're going to show a piece that we actually have in inventory, just so you can get a sense of how it hangs within a space. But very accessible print, under $5,000.
Oh wow, that's a good value for such a large size and for such a reputable artist.
Yes, yeah. And then it's very interesting because prints are done with flocking and tar. So if you notice his paintings, he paints the subject, but he doesn't like to paint around it. So what he would do is he would block all of that out with tar, one of the materials he was using to construct. He still does that today. So he doesn't count the space around the actual image as important enough to waste time with brush strokes and etc. So as a printer, he's also mastered a way to do that. So he flocks his prints, so they're given texture.
So the flocking for those,
down, much like the painting, they're dulled down.
So really quick, for those that I know what flocking is, but just in case someone doesn't know what flocking is, do you want to? What is flocking?
What is flocking?
Did you flock last night, Don? How many times have you flocked this week?
Lost. No, it's a way to make something sort of textural.
So if you guys remember, just to bring those 60s and 70s shirts that had that kind of velvety fuzziness to him, and they had the print that was kind of like a puffy sticker, and it had that fuzziness to it, that's flocking. Am I right?
Right. So he does those with his prints. So it's very interesting because he achieves the same thing he's trying to do in his paintings with the prints by doing that.
Okay, now the last piece that we're going to look at is this red and black piece. Is it a print? Tell us a little bit about this. Is it a print? What size is it? What do we have here?
Something for our inventory. It's pretty good size. I think it's 38 inches long plus the frame, so you're over 40 on it. It was done. This one's actually kind of special because it was done for a museum out in the Hamptons as a fundraiser, and the one we have, it was an edition of 75, which is a pretty small edition, and they're all sold. They're all sold out. And this one was a copy that was given to the person outside the edition that actually published the edition in the museum. It's inscribed to Tom Lawler. Okay. But you will very effectively see the sort of two-dimensionality of the black and where the flocking and the tar that is on it comes in.
Would you say this is a good OTC piece?
Oh, well, absolutely. I have it over some shelves in my office. I'm enjoying it right now.
So OTC, we call it over the couch. Our eloquent way of saying, a piece that can hold the wall in a main living room that's over the sofa. We call it OTC, but this could be an excellent OTC main piece for a living room, something like that.
Yes, exactly.
And what's the price on this piece particularly?
This is $4,500.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. It's a good value for the money, I think.
And is it framed as well, or is?
Yeah, that's framed out the door.
So $4,500 includes the frame, and it's 3.5 feet by 2 feet, 2.5 feet, something like that.
It's about 42 inches by about 24 inches.
Yeah, so that almost 2 by 4, almost. Yeah, that's a good size. Great. So if someone wanted to acquire any of these pieces, who should they contact? Where should they email, call? What should they do? Should they just go to chelseaartgroup.com or?
That's fine. You can do that. Or we're also on Artsy. You can see the piece better on Artsy, artsy.com, and you look up Chelsea Art Group, and the piece will be there.
Or people could email Don at chelseaartgroup.com, or myself, Igor, at chelseaartgroup.com, and we'll be more than happy to send you detailed images. So,
yes, absolutely. And we have, there's some inventory we have up on Artsy, but there are other pieces available, including some of the larger paintings.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for this first episode of the Chelsea Chat, and I can't wait for the next one. Cheers.
All right. Good night. Thanks.